Welcome back. After equipment and communications meltdowns at Newark Airport last week led to ongoing delays and cancellations for thousands, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is now pushing a new plan to overhaul the country's air traffic control systems. It includes rebuilding aging control towers, adding 25,000 new radios, and replacing hundreds of old radars. And joining us now is Newark Mayor Ras Baraka. He's also a Democratic candidate for governor of New Jersey. Mayor, thanks for spending some time with us. Happy Friday to you. Your city has been in the headlines this past week, or even a couple of weeks now, for all the wrong reasons. How concerned are you with the safety of air travel over your city?
Well, I mean, one, I am concerned about the chaos that's happening over at the airport because of the airspace and the crowded airspace. The cancellations and the delays of flights, I think, is what needs to happen. They need to delay flights. They need to cancel flights to make sure people are not flying in the air blind. And part of that is because the airspace is too crowded. You know, I like what Sean Duffy is doing right now, and you have to give them kudos. I'm glad they moved away from blaming this on diversity, equity, and inclusion and start understanding that there are some real equipment failures that they want to repair, replacing some real infrastructure issues and hiring more air traffic controllers. But there's too many planes in the air. I think they need to slow down, put some space between the flights, and begin to lessen the amount of flights that are coming out of there now until they get this thing fixed in terms of a short-term fix.
Yeah, I mean, this longer-term plan could take 3 to 4 years, according to Secretary Duffy, and that's pending funding from Congress. That plan, again, includes thousands of new radios, network connections, new radars, rebuilding control towers. That does sound like a lot. Just on a local level, what do you think is the biggest need and needed most urgently right now to ensure safety of its airspace?
Well, space between the flights. You need to put some space between the flights. You need to slow the number of flights that are coming in and out of that airport. They need to speed up the construction of the new runway that's happening there, which is also an impediment to what's going on. And there needs to be some emergency hires, air traffic control, some emergency hires right away to put more people, more staff in there to make sure that they are able to speak to and control what's happening in the air. Some of the technology upgrades they want to do is fine, but they need to make sure they repair the radar systems that exist now in the short term so people are just safe in the air, so we have confidence of travelers at our airport again.
Mayor, we just confirmed from the FAA there was an outage this morning to radar screens. It was just in certain sectors at about 4 a.m. It lasted for about 90 seconds. What's your reaction?
Well, it's horrible, and it's speaks to some of the incidents we've been seeing nationally in the air. And this has to be an urgent matter. We don't have time to go back and forth with political wrangling about who's right and who's wrong. We need to put some air traffic controllers in place now. We need to fix those radar systems now, and we need to slow the planes down. We need to put space between the planes that are coming in and out of those airports. Yep.
Right. But it's crazy to think, isn't it, that this is still happening, that there are outages when it comes to these radar screens. We know that there were air traffic controllers who have taken trauma leave because of this exact type of incident that has happened multiple times previously. Can people feel safe getting on an airplane and flying out of your city?
Well, yeah, I think, number one, the safety and the convenience is the problem, right? So at the end of the day, if people weren't being inconvenienced, then it would be unsafe. I think ultimately what's happening is that the airlines and the airport are slowing the planes down. They're stopping planes from going. They're canceling flights. They're trying themselves to put less planes in the air. I think it needs to come from the FAA to mandate less planes in the air, to slow some of these planes down. It is happening as a function of the airport right there as it goes. So the inconvenience is because they're trying to make it safe, right? If there was no inconvenience, if there was no cancellations, if there was no delay, then I think it would be unsafe.
Well, these problems apparently are still ongoing. The fix hasn't happened yet. We'll continue to stay on it. Mayor Ras Baraka, thank you so much for taking the time. Appreciate the conversation.
Thank you.